During the coronavirus pandemic, a lot of people have been ditching the gym and seeking alternative ways to try and stay in shape. One that's becoming increasingly popular is exercising in virtual reality. Joining us live to give us more insight is social media and tech expert Leslie Samuel from IamLeslieSamuel.com. Leslie, how are you? Good morning.
I am doing great. How are you doing today?
Excellent. Let's talk about this. How does exercising in virtual reality work?
Yes, it's quite fascinating. What you need in order to exercise in virtual reality is you need a virtual reality headset. So, for example, this is an Oculus Quest 2 that I have. This goes over your head and you're able to see virtual environments. And then you have these two controllers there in your hand so you can swing your arms, you can hit stuff, you can fight. There's so much that you can do to get a really good workout in virtual reality.
So tell us about some of the popular workout apps that work well with this kind of technology.
Yeah, absolutely. So I went and asked in one of these virtual reality fitness communities that I'm a part of, and there were three that rose to the top. The first one is called FitXR. Now, this is a game where you're basically boxing, and you have to hit these objects. You have to do some squatting and some dips and so on, and you're able to really get a dynamic workout for it. Another one is it kind of takes it to the next level with boxing. It's called the thrill of the fight. And that's where you're actually in a ring fighting with someone. And man, it makes me sweat like crazy. The last one is actually my favorite. It's called Supernatural. And this one, basically, it takes you into all these virtual environments all across the world. You have coaches and you're hitting these balloons and you're moving and you're squatting and you're raising your legs and so on. And you're able to get a really engaging and dynamic workout.
This sort of takes working out in front of your television with a PlayStation or whatnot to a whole new level, right? What are some tips for getting a great workout in virtual reality?
Absolutely. It's a completely different level because you can move around, you can engage in so many ways that you can't do normally. So some of the tips that I would recommend, the first one is important. Treat it as if it's an actual workout. I mean, doing the stretching, paying attention to your form, listening to the coaches, like in the Supernatural app, they have coaches that are telling you what to do. Follow what they're doing, because if you don't, you might end up with some injuries that you don't want to, you don't want to get into. The second one is really tap into some of the online communities. The Supernatural app, for example, they have a vibrant Facebook community and people follow each other. They encourage each other along. They do group parties where they work out in virtual reality together so you can hear them as they are huffing and panting with you. And it feels like you're really doing it with someone. And the last one, I have an Apple Watch and it has a heart rate monitor on it. If you can pair what you're doing in virtual reality with a heart rate monitor, it really helps you to monitor what you're doing and keep track of it and really take it to the next level, because you can see exactly how intense your workout is getting and what you're doing and keep on track with it that way. And lastly, this is my favorite one. If you're gonna exercise in virtual reality, have fun. The more fun it is, the more likely you will be to actually stick with it. Any exercise that is just super boring, you're going to be most likely to slack off on.
That's so true. Leslie, I'd be afraid I'd start in the living room and I'd end out in the garage with that thing on.
The cool thing about it is when you set it up, you actually set up some guardians. So if you move a little too much to the right or to the left or to the front, some lights will come up and show you that, hey, you're going a little too far, so that you don't hit your husband or your wife or anything of that sort.
Excellent. So you've got some bumpers and some boundaries. Leslie Samuel, Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Some great advice.
Thanks for having me.
Amy.
All right. Thanks, you guys. That was fun.